and this video is a sort of a test video of what I'm going to like to discuss with Spirit in the next week or the following week. So I'm going to talk as if I am presenting this to Spirit, and then I'd like your feedback on it. We're basically going to show this new product called a sphere builder, which is, it's not exactly a sphere, but it yeah, let me just get started on it. So this is a demo of a tool using OpenAI ChatGPT to answer questions about a project. So rather than send out real data, we made up an imaginary application called the Sphere Builder, and it's interesting because it's not quite a sphere, but it's more of an artistic thing. But the main point is not to spend time on that. It's mainly just to show how ChatGPT can help us answer questions about it. So the person that designs the sphere needs to program these drilling locations at these frames, and what's not shown is that at each drilling location there's a certain amount of titanium, a certain amount of composite, and a certain amount of aluminum, and there's a certain order they have to follow. And so this is a small snapshot of what a programmer's already done. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, let's say they've programmed this whole thing. I think there's 755 points. There's 4 NCT locations, 1, 2, 3, 4, operated around the part, and then there's this KUKA robot, and this is electro impact machine that we're borrowing. But yeah, so basically we save this program, and let's call it Project 3. And then it writes this out, Project 3. And so if we look now in our Project 3, it just wrote this out. Okay, so let's look at what's in this file. So basically, this is a representation of the whole program. You have the NCT location you have the robot at. You have the command. And there's some internal commands, but basically you have a drill and a camera resync. And then you have this fastener type, okay? And then you have a corresponding drill tool that you're going to need for those guys. And we're going to check to make sure that they're the same. If you have a -1, you could ignore that field. Here's the different, oh, this is the XYZ point right here. XYZ, and this is the orientation. These are the 3 types of materials, and then CFRP is composite, but it also could be CFRP1 or CFRP2. They kind of mean slightly different things. So well, this is the corresponding thickness, and right now for this application, let's see, you might not be able to see that. For this application, these are random numbers between 0 and 1 in inches, but you know, in the real application these would be the exact inches that you drill. But what we really want to do is we want to take this information, we want to give it to ChatGPT and send it down there and let them figure it out and say, let's ask some questions about it, because we really want kind of almost like a fastener database application on this. So I'm going to copy this point randomly and put it here. So now we have 2 points that are the same, and we're going to see if this ChatGPT can figure that out. Okay, so let's go right to the here's our guy right there. So this is kind of like, you know, a smart assistant, hiring a smart assistant. Okay, so I'm just going to ask it questions in English, and then it's going to answer. It doesn't have to be exactly. I mean, you can ask it anything. You know, you could do something like this where you just basically it's going to go out and do a Google search and organize it for you, or we can ask other questions. So we've eaten at Texas Roadhouse. That's good that it's when pigs fly. I don't think I've ever eaten there. But you can also ask it, you know, in case you're tired of working on your sphere builder, you can ask it other questions and it'll write that. Golden sun. That's cool. I like it. Okay, so let's see. So I'm going to give it this file. So I'm gonna find this guy right here, and I'm gonna. So this is the project 3. So it's preparing for okay, so then oh, I see. It's still inserting it. So I'll wait until it gets. Okay, there we go. Okay, so while it's answering that, so it looks good. Okay. Okay, so let me give you some rules. So this is kind of like the same thing we just talked about as people here. Here's the basic rules. The columns labeled X, Y, and Z contain real values that form a point in space. Okay, so I'm gonna, and then there's different things about the thickness and the aluminum. Al means aluminum, Ti means titanium, all that kind of stuff. So fasteners, so that we just give it. It's kind of like you're hiring a person and they want to know what's going on, so you just give it these rules. So I'm going to drop these rules in here. Okay, so do you have any So I'm just going to see if all the rules kind of make sense. So remember when we looked at this here, remember when we looked at here, these, in this command, in this column called command, there's the word drill or camera resync. So these are drill points. This is a camera resync. So we should be able to ask about those. Okay, so here it is. It's just kind of, do you find any duplicate points? Now I should find that one. We kind of on purpose made one, but you know, in a real thing it should not find any duplicates. One thing is that we put a -1 in the fields where we don't really have data. It doesn't mean that the thickness here, it doesn't mean the thickness is -1 or the XYZ point is -1. It just means that there's no value in that field, so we should ignore those. Okay. Okay, there are different. Okay, where are these points? So it should just find that's 1 and not count the points that have -1 in there. Okay, it says I have to be a little more clear. I mean the points, the drill points in this CSV file. Ignore the -1 values. So I should have said probably where are the duplicate drill points. First, let me find out how many drill points there are. Okay, that's great. That's exactly right. Those are the ones I just copied. So how many drill points are there? I do think that's correct. Yep. How many camera points are there? I think what I did is I just created an arbitrary camera point for every 10 drill points. There's probably 75 or 76 camera points. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And it's using the rules, only the rows where it's camera resync and the X, Y, Z values are not -1, which is correct. Okay. What is the total thickness of aluminum drilled? And in the rules we said it could be AL. AL means aluminum, and also it could be AL, AL1, AL2, or AL3, which are all kind of internal abbreviations for different thicknesses and therefore different drill types that are needed. So we want to figure out the total thickness of aluminum. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so this should basically do the same thing, but CFRP can either be CFRP1, CFRP2, or just CFRP, I think. So those should be added in together. Notice that it's making these code to run, and then it's running the code. So this is code that's being generated by it and executed by it. All right, good. Okay, let me see. Do all the drill tools match the fastener types? So basically, there's a rule, remember here, where we said the name of the drill tool should be the word drill tool followed by the number string of the fastener. So this needs to look up the fastener name. So here we said the column labeled fastener, there is the fastener for that point. And so it should say if all of these match. Okay. Okay, which drill tools do not match their fastener type? We have to go back and fix those. And actually, I on purpose made some of them not match, so that would be a little more interesting. And then I think the last question we're going to ask is so maybe it didn't take all the that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this rule right here that says these three rules right here. I don't know if there's a limit on rules, number of rules. Okay, well, this is good. Yeah, see that's perfect. Actually, I made fastener 13 have drill tool. This is interesting, I think, because see, like here I say fastener 83 has drill tool 83, but on purpose I made fastener 13 have drill tool 12, so it kind of did find exactly, whoops. It found exactly what I was looking for, so that's perfect. how many drill points are at location NCT2? So if we remember here, looking back at this, see, these are the different locations the robot can move to, and I basically said, let's see, I forget. Okay, here we go. So right about 200, I change it from NCT 1 to 2, and then I change it to, and that's just kind of, yeah, so 300. So there's about 100 for NCT. It looks like there's about 100, I guess. Yeah, 91, because actually some of them are camera resync, so I think that's exactly right. Okay, so I think this is good. It's a good example of a tool of using ChatGPT to help figure things out on big files. Kind of the trick is you got to have it's almost like a person. You got to describe exactly what you mean by all the thickness values and the abbreviations you use, and where, and the NCT locations, what they mean exactly. But once you do that, then it's a good. So it's kind of bailing here on making one decision. I think it's being too nice, but anyways. All right. Thanks. Let me know if you have any questions.